Hi there, good afternoon and welcome to your own BYJU'S exam prep channel that helps you go ahead and gain excellence in these entrance exams. If you're new here, then you know what you're supposed to do, right? I have two asks. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon because that ensures that you get a notification for every session that we plan, every session that we go on to conduct. My name is Vikrant. I have 22 years of teaching experience where I act as your personal coach for all things related to English and communication. So during the course of this session, if you have any doubts, questions, issues, anything whatsoever that you want to discuss or talk about, make sure that you use the chat window rather liberally to reach out to me and ask your questions. Moreover, I don't know whether you're going to ask me questions or not. I am definitely going to ask you a lot of questions. So you can also go ahead and participate in that chat if you are subscribed. So this is the 42nd session in the series. If you're just about starting out, you do realize that you have like a wealth of practice material available to you. Okay? So anything that you want to ask before we start? Any question, issue, concern, anything that bothers you, anything that you kind of want to discuss? Now that CAT is approaching, I am actually curious to know if you happen to have any issue or problem. Okay, so in that case, let's go ahead and start. But here is one very quick reminder before we move on, and that is our next All India Open Mock is going to come very soon. So make sure that you register for it and write it. And let's start with something for our mind. So I keep putting in those sentences in my life and now your life that help us align ourselves with our true selves. So let's see. So here is a quote. I learned a long time ago that there is something worse than missing the goal, and that is not pulling the trigger. So make sure that you keep on working really very hard and you move towards greater and greater success. So okay, then KKF, consistently touching 30 in VARC. Okay, so you are getting 90 percentile plus. Can I get to 35-40? Absolutely yes. You just need to start getting what? 2 extra questions right, and that will lead to 8 more marks, right? जो 2 गलत हुए उनका -1 +3, and that's all that it takes, yaar. Para jumbles is my kryptonite. So KKF, let's not forget that you are calling yourself Superman. And para jumbles are just like RCs, yeah. They are from your home planet. They're not your kryptonite. Hi Sonali, Prasanna, Hirva. Also summary and completions. Hirva, I'm not carrying any summary questions today, but I have. We'll definitely bring those in. Don't worry. We can definitely do that. Hi Tanisha. Hi Manish. So let's start. Let's go ahead and read the directions for the next few questions. So read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. So, you know, when I create these sessions for you, I try bringing in some variety, some diversity. So the diversity can be brought in the way of different question types. The diversity can be brought in the way of, different subject matters. But there is one aspect that I have not used very frequently here on YouTube. And that is, apart from subject matter, the difficulty in a passage can also come from the language and the style that is used by the author. So here is a passage where I am exposing you to a slightly different style and a slightly different language than what you are accustomed to read. And that may some of you are excellent readers, but that may pose some different challenge for you. So let's start. So please take a deep breath, not one but three, and then focus. Go ahead and then start working. Hirva says, I'm asking for some sources for that. Yeah, Hirva, para completion, I cannot really recommend a source because the latest variety was introduced very recently. So it's highly unlikely that you'd find a lot of questions of that variety. Summary, I think at BYJU'S exam prep, we keep giving you quizzes very regularly, so you can use those. Or, I think I'll do something about it, don't worry. Let us see. I can start creating more sessions for you. We in fact have our CAT marathon sessions starting. So we'd obviously go ahead and look at all of these different types there. So ready for the passage? So as usual, I will take you through the passage paragraph by paragraph. Once you've read the paragraph, let me know so that I can take you over to the next slide. And eventually we'd solve 5 questions based on this particular passage. So here is the first slide. Eva, interesting. That sounds amazing. So here is next. Okay, taking you over to the next slide. Okay, here is next. And here is next. Ready? So you notice how it talks about these cultural differences, insularity and the similarities between India and okay, so let's dive into our questions. So here is the first one. What do you think? What is the meaning of the word confer as used in the passage? So answers. Oh, Hirva, I saw this a little late. Let's discuss this later. Okay, so first up, where exactly is this word? This word was present in the very first paragraph. If you use the seeker and go back, let me take you back. Here it is. Being conferred the PhD in material science. So in this particular case, what do you understand by conferred? Conferred with PhD. So can I say that she was awarded the PhD? She was given that particular degree? Right, so that's how we will generally go ahead and define it. Now, if I use elimination, then the first one is endow with. When you are endowed with something, then it means that you possess some desirable quality. Okay. Additionally, to endow could also mean to give something, normally a scholarship, a grant, etc. So not a very great fit, but let us see. How about consult? Definitely not. Speak? Definitely not. Parley? Can it be parley? You notice the spelling? Okay, parley basically means to negotiate. Parley means to meet in order to discuss something. Even that is not right. So you notice in this particular case, if you ask me for a synonym or a meaning, I will probably not think of endow with, but in this context, through elimination, we can arrive at A. That comes closest to the meaning among the four options, although even A is fairly farther away. So that is why elimination is extremely important in these exams, because the right answer choice may not even exist. Here is your next question. What struck the author the most about the chemical engineer who received his PhD in biological engineering? Don't forget to refer to the right paragraph. So what's your take? Oh, I think when it comes to specific detail questions, all of you are absolutely amazing. D, it is You can very easily find it in the second last paragraph. So here is the next question. So I've just tried to design a convoluted question stem from you, the kinds, or at least the direction that the IIMs took last year in some of the questions. So let's go ahead and attempt it and we'd see. Okay, so Prasanna has set the ball rolling with his answer. What about the rest of us? So you notice, despite the question stem, it essentially, in a way, is what we typically call the idea restatement question. And I absolutely agree with Prasanna and Sonali here that the answer should be option A. And so says KKF Clips as well. Okay, so here is the next one. This is more of a reasoning question. So let's go ahead and check. Hirva, are we sure that it was C? C essentially stated the world is waiting for a major scientific breakthrough versus world has not run out of problems for the MIT students to solve. So not run out of problem is not yet devoid of problems. Waiting for a major scientific breakthrough is something that will be really far away from the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into question number 4. I plan to use my favorite approach, and that approach is called elimination. So when I looked at B, I realized that this is something that is not even mentioned in the passage, so definitely not true. C appeared so nice and tempting apart from this part. Using the same metrics is not something that has been stated, so not true. How about D? People are employing the knowledge acquired in one field to realize the pitfalls of another field. They are applying the knowledge of one field to somehow become better in another field, and not to realize the pitfalls. So this part is again not true. So A is the only one, A is the only part that can be termed true. Let me take you to the passage and then we will see. This is here. When you say there is an ample role to be played by the MIT graduates, so they have used engineering and computing skills, and you still need those things further up. So from this we can definitely infer A. The other parts are not true. So in every inference based question, at the end of the labels that we apply are true, false, can't say. In order to speed up the process, I normally do not even look at false and can't say all the time. I just say okay, true or not true. In case I see no answer choice as true and I end up labeling all of them as not true, then I'll get to the distinction of false versus can't say in order to pick up the best answer choice. And here is the last question from the passage for you. Why does the author believe that the world is more equal and equitable? Refer to the right part and hopefully the answer will be easy to arrive at. Okay. So we are getting B. Tanisha says all. So I think it is important for us to refer to the relevant part. So there is a paragraph where the author has talked about equitability. So let's go ahead and have a look at that particular part. There you go. Here is the money shot. So in order to understand this, we need to look at the immediate context. So observing the steady stream of women and the non-white and a handful from Middle Eastern countries getting awarded the advanced degrees left us with a heady feeling. And what is the feeling? World is more equal and equitable than we possibly think. So if the world were unequal, what will happen? You don't have this diversity, right? You won't see as many women and non-white and Middle Eastern, right? So you're getting the drift? So keeping that in mind, now if I look at it, people from all walks of life are getting a PhD, different economic and cultural backgrounds, advanced degrees are not being represented solely. Now see, this is what was being talked about there. So women, non-white, Middle Eastern. So when you see these, you are saying that the world is equal and equitable, which means that you were saying that, okay, hey, it's not just the white men now, right? You see women, you see non-white, you see Middle Easterns. So C actually comes closest. So it's not about all walks. All walks will be very broad in this context. People from different economic and cultural backgrounds are getting educated. Okay, so I have two problems with B. The first is, it is not about economic, cultural, yes. It is not about getting educated in a variety of streams. It was not about a variety of streams. It was all about, just to quote the passage, advanced degrees. And that is why B could also be termed incorrect. And thus D is also ruled out, and so our answer is option C. So it was a very subtle, a very indirect way of asking you an inference-based question. So you notice, so once again, the problem with A, all walks of life. Problem with B are already highlighted, so you see. Then somebody had asked me for, okay, Hirva has asked me for the meaning of kudos. Let us see the context in which it was present. Here you go. Is something to give kudos to. Okay, then it's basically something to praise. Something that is praiseworthy. Something that should be lauded. So that's the meaning here. So I hope that takes care of everything about the passage as well as the questions that you had asked. Let's move into our next set of two questions. Please read the directions and then we'll dive in. 5 sentences. Prasanna, see, I made this mental shift a while ago. And what was that mental shift? A lot of times we look at options and say, hey, these are close answer choices. So I have stopped calling them close answer choices. I call them close looking answer choices. And I've started pointing finger towards myself instead of towards the options. I now think of what should I do so that I am able to see those differences. And that thought process has helped me a lot. Okay, so try that and you'd end up surprising yourself. So if you've read the directions, you know that we are going to dive into 2 paragraph odd one out questions. It has been quite a while since we've practiced those. So here is the first one. Those of you who are joining in now, I'll just write what we are supposed to do here. Okay, so paragraph odd one out. What's your take? So let us see what you go ahead and give as your answer. Okay, Ishika has shared her take, so Sonali and Priyanshi. Absolutely correct, guys. 2 it is. Fabulous. What a wonderful bunch it is, huh? 2. Okay, so here is the next paragraph, odd one out. What's your answer to this? This is longer, so it is probably going to take you 60 to 90 seconds. I'll give you radio silence until then, and then we'll look it up. Okay, so we have 3, we have 5. Oof. So in a democracy, 5 would be winning hands down. Okay, so let us look at what we are talking about here. So sentence first is saying that there are these theories, okay, string theory, supersymmetry. There is no evidence whether they are true or not, but they are survived. Why? Because they are too beautiful not to be true. So we are talking about 2 theories. No evidence for those, but they survive because they are beautiful. Okay, second, Hosenfelder claims that theorists use a very rigid definition of beauty as the yardstick for their theories, elegance and naturalness. So again, there is somebody who says that theorists somehow use some definition of beauty for their theory. So you notice first talked about theories, beauty, second talks about theory, beauties. Sentence 3, cultural ideals of beauty evolve in response to our ever evolving knowledge of the way the world works. So now we are not talking about theories, we are talking about cultural ideals of beauty. So you notice cultural ideals are how a society defines beauty. Okay, and we are saying that these keep on changing. Okay, fourth, it is presumptuous assuming a priori that a theory of everything must be beautiful in exactly the way that we think it should be. Okay, a priori is a term that is borrowed from, or that comes from epistemology. Okay, so within philosophy we study different areas. One of those different areas is epistemology. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. We try to figure out what knowledge really is. And a priori basically means independent of experience. So, you know, there are certain things that you learn through experience, and then there are certain things that you know already, that you're born with. So we are saying that assuming a priori, you know, even before testing or observation or data, if you believe that a theory of everything must be beautiful in exactly the way that we think it should be. So once again, we are talking about scientific theory and beauty. Fifth, in her book Lost in Math, the German physicist Sabine Hosenfelder argues that this dogma, that a correct theory must be beautiful, has stunted progress in physics. So if I look at it superficially, Now that I've talked about all of those, you realize 1, 2, 4 and 5 are all talking about scientific theories and beauty. And out of these 4, 3 are actually negative about it. They say that it should not be done, it should not be happening. Right? Third, on the other hand, is talking about cultural ideals of beauty. We're not even talking about science here. So purely going by, every paragraph has a theme and a scope. Third will go out of that scope, and therefore third is the answer for this particular question. Okay, so that's our paragraph odd one outs. And with that, let's dive into the next one. So 3 questions, 8 to 10. I think the moment you see the first sentence of the directions, the 4 sentences labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, you know that you are dealing with parajumbles. So 3 questions of parajumble. So normally, on a RAP, we keep on conducting these surveys where we ask about which question types are bothering you more. And almost invariably people tell me that RC is an issue, parajumbles are an issue, and therefore I'm kind of trying to prioritize those consistently. So 8 to 10 are parajumbles. So here is your first parajumble on the screen. 4 sentences. Just arrange them and share your arrangement with me in the chat window. Hello Anish, you joined in a little late today. Busy. Okay, so Ali, I see that. So I basically saw three very sound clues here. The first was however, then the reason, then so. So if you look at it, the reason is, so the reason for what? So let us read ahead. If unnecessary words are reduced, the verb percentage goes up as a mathematical necessity. Right? So the only phenomenon for which 3 can be a reason is 1. Good writers use more verbs. Why? You reduce unnecessary words, verb percentage goes up, so you have 1 plus 3. But then look at 4th, starts with so. So use verbs is not really good advice. What can act as a premise for it? What can act as a premise? It has to be 2, no? It is hard to write without verbs. So use verbs is not really good advice. Writers have to use verbs. So जो चीज already करनी ही पड़ेगी, उसको suggest क्यों किया जाए? Something that has to be done already, why would you go ahead and suggest it? And if you do suggest it, it can actually lead to problems. Notice trying to add extra ones would not turn out well. So if you need a premise for 4th, it has to be 2. And all of this makes sense. 2 and 4 make sense in the light of 1 and 3. And therefore, the best way of arranging them is 1, 3, 2, 4. So 1, 3, 2, 4. So I think a lot of us were very close. I think a lot of us had ended up choosing 1, 3, 4, 2. So if you use 1, 3, 4, 2, you realize, can you put 2 after 4? However, requires contrast. So right before, you need to have a suggestion that says that, hey, don't use verbs. Avoid verbs. But 4 does not tell that to you. And therefore, we'll not be able to justify the use of. However, if we put it after 4. Okay, so with that, let me take you over to your next question. Here it is on the screen. Comparatively lengthier because the sentences are longer, but then personally, I like longer parajumbles. You know why? More clues. The higher the number of total words, the higher is the probability of finding clues. So let's go ahead and dive into this and then see what we need to choose or opt for. Anish says, where is Jai Ho? भाई मैं समझा नहीं यार. जय हो गाना याद आ रहा है यार इससे तो मुझे खाली. Alright, then if I do that, I'll end up distracting everyone from the question, so let's not do that. Okay. Just to give you a hint, so far no answer choice is right. And I'll tell you what I've done in this particular question to fool you. All those who look at a parajumble and the first thing that they think of is, hey, let's go ahead and find the opening sentence. They are the ones who are going to have a problem with this particular question. If you look for the opening sentence, this is one question that will trouble you no end. The moment you follow just the clues, the moment you stop, or the moment you control this strong urge to look for the opening, look for the close, it's an easy question. If you don't control that urge, it will lead you astray. Okay, so I think there are three of these which are very easy to realize. When you look at fourth, seeing the campaign as a potential disaster has to come after first. And in fourth, he turned his troops south towards Kaesong. So once he turns his troops towards Kaesong, it's only then that he'll arrive in Kaesong. So 1, 4, 2. Now the only issue is where should we put 3? Sorry. Now you notice, In third, General Yi was sent to expel Ming troops. So first you get the order to expel Mings, but then you realize that hey, Mings are strong. So instead of going there, you go to Kaisong and then you start your own empire. So it has to start with 3. The troublesome thing about 3 is that the moment you see this, due to his prominence, you'd start wondering, his has to be some sentence before this in this paragraph. No, not necessary. Has to be some sentence before this, yes, but that sentence does not have to come from this paragraph. That can belong to the previous paragraphs, and that's why 3142. But I think 142 is something that I expect all of you to go ahead and check. And 3 logically would of course require to be put in first. Okay, and with that, let me take you to your next parajumble. Ready? Question number 10 on your screen. Go ahead, tell me what you think. Clues, follow clues, don't look for opening and closing. Okay. So I think it's very easy to connect these two, right? Had the world's leading central banks not provided this, would have faced meltdown, payment systems would have failed, blah, blah, blah. So 1-4. And then 1 and 4 are a justification for 3. And then 2 then goes ahead and provides contrast, but what started as a short-term emergency painkiller then morphed into a prolonged monetary comma. So 2, absolutely. So I think most of you have managed to get this right. So 3, 1, 4, 2. Now the only problem here was where to put in 2. So position of 2 could actually challenge. Should I put it immediately after 4? Because see, should I put it immediately after 3? You read 3, after the Lehman crisis, low rates and quantitative easing were needed. And then 2, but what started as a short term morphed into a prolonged monetary comma. But then, so there is absolutely no problem with 3 and 2. It does provide that contrast. But then 1 and 4 are talking about quantitative easing's need. So they're talking about, they're basically telling you why they were needed. Faced meltdown, panic, economic torpor, civil unrest. So 1 and 4 are talking about that need, justifying that need. And because they are acting as what I call the supporting detail for sentence 3, they should come immediately afterwards. 3, 1, 4, and then 2 introduces a new idea. And that is why 3, 1, 4, 2. Why 1 and 4? Why not 2 and 4? When you say payment systems would have failed. But then prior to that, you need to talk about world's leading central banks providing emergency liquidity. If they don't do this, had they not done that, all of these would have happened. So one of those things that would have happened is stated in first and the rest of them are stated in fourth. So both of them are essentially linked with the actions of the leading central banks. So 3142 for question number 10, and that's what I had brought for you today. If you liked working with me, don't forget to press this button, which is really very important for me. So do show your love by pressing that like button. And for more practice, you can enroll in our test series, which gives you access to more than 80 mocks, a lot of section tests, and tons of practice questions. Do consider that. And if you need more extensive help, you can join our comprehensive program. And for that matter, don't take our word for it that it's a great course. You can always look at our past results and unlock a 3-day trial and experience those classes for yourself. Okay. So, and apart from that, you know that we've started this NMAT crash course. The first class was yesterday. I hope you enjoyed working with us on that. Make sure that you keep on attending each one of those classes for NMAT moving forward. Right, so that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you guys once again real soon. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel before you head out. Righto. So that's it from me. Until I see you next, stay safe, stay focused, keep working hard, and please remember that we are just a message away. We are always around for you. Right? Take care. Have a nice day. See you soon.